we are, back at it again.
Here we are. Also, I haven't watched WandaVision yet, and
Okay, I won't say anything.
I just wanted
Even
to tell
though
you that.
I sent you a text last night that had like emojis in it, but it was more about like finishing overall. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
I don't want to
Yeah.
reveal
No,
anything.
we
I tried
watched.
so hard on Twitter to not see spoilers. Like, I felt like everywhere I turned, spoilers.
I just have not looked at Twitter
Twitter.
because I know something will happen if I do. We watched Raya and the Last Dragon last night, and it was
Mhm.
like very beautiful. I don't know if I was just really tired, but it was so long. It was so long, and I was just like, I cannot do WandaVision after this. I think I
Yeah.
watched Raya and then fell asleep immediately. So
Mhm.
we're watching that, and then RuPaul has a new episode, so we're like stacked for today.
I think I'm caught up on everything after WandaVision last night because Dickinson ended last week and it took me a few days to catch up.
I need to
But that
watch
was
that.
worth watching the end of that season. So
I need to watch that because we don't really have a show to binge right now. I thought
yeah,
about Ginny and Georgia, but I feel like it's just like Gilmore Girls, but like a little different.
yeah, it just
And
doesn't speak to me.
no, the mom's hot, so I mean maybe, but so this is Girls on Film. I'm Addy.
The way you just slid that in there. Oh, this is Girls on Film.
This is what
um,
we're doing.
yeah, I'm Hannah, and we're here to talk about Moxie.
I literally forgot what we were here to talk about, honestly. You were saying that, and I was like, oh yeah, what are we doing?
Oh yeah, that's it.
That thing. It's a new Netflix movie.
It is, and it was directed by Amy Poehler. And a lot of people said like a lot of the stuff that I saw like promo would be like directed and starring. And I feel like starring's a stretch.
A strong word, yeah. She's like,
Yeah,
if anything, I would say she's like a, oh my God, what do they even
supporting
call them?
cast.
Supporting, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like gonna say assisting, and I was like, that's not right.
Well,
No, she's not in it that much. When she is in it, she's great. But
I guess okay. Do you want me to give a summary?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So it is based on a book. I learned that afterwards, a book
I
from
read the book.
2015. Oh, okay. I had no clue. And I think the screenplay was adapted by the author of the book helped adapt the screenplay, which I feel like I don't know if that's good or bad.
Right.
Because you would think like, oh great, they're like keeping the source material, but then at the same time it's like if they're like a book author, that's different than writing a
Yeah.
screenplay. But anyway, it's about a teenage girl who's trying to write a college essay and realizes she is not involved in anything and is inspired by her mom's involvement. I was like, God, what's that word? In the like riot girl movement of the 90s, right? I guess.
Hmm. Yeah, 90s.
I'm like, I don't know, I was alive, but I was a baby. So she like starts this group at school. Well, it's a zine. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do people call it that? It's like a little pamphlet thing that she hands
Yeah.
out at school, but she does it anonymously, and it's called Moxie. And she gets this like group of girls, and they all start like fighting back against the patriarchy in their school.
Yeah.
And that's Moxie.
That is it. Also, I've never seen the main girl before.
No, never. I have no clue.
Yeah, me
Everyone
either.
else in it looked at least vaguely familiar.
Right. No, everyone else in it, like a lot of the other girls had been in the new Saved by the Bell,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
which I didn't watch all of or like even a lot of, but
Yeah,
I
I
just kind
started.
of I looked at it basically,
You're like, that's enough.
and then like the main guy villain is Patrick
Oh my
Schwarzenegger,
God. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
which once you realize who his dad is, like I told my mom and she was like, "Oh, I wish you hadn't told me. Now all I can see is like Arnold Schwarzenegger's face on this
Mm-hmm.
like young kid." I was like, "Right? It's so weird." And
Yeah.
then Ike Bernholtz is the
Yeah, I
teacher
think the
and
adults
I
are much more like
love him.
recognizable than the
Yeah. Oh
which
yeah.
makes sense. Like if Amy Poehler's directing, like she's gonna
Bring
not
in
like
like
pick her friends, but
yeah.
I don't know how to feel about Patrick Schwarzenegger in general. His family is a bit iffy to me because of his sister's married to Chris Pratt, right? Like they're very religious and all that stuff.
Oh, I forgot that his sister was how many kids are in that family?
Press too many. Um,
I'm looking it up.
but the other boy in this movie, Nico, who is also in
Oh,
Booksmart,
how did
I
I
would die
forget
for
about him?
him. I would die for him.
Same,
I love him so
same. I
much.
love him. So
Like,
he has Arnold Schwarzenegger has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 children.
wow.
Oh, and one is ugly. Oh, that was mean. Um, Wow,
Oh, that was me.
that was really aggressive, but I felt that way. Because Patrick's cute. He's 27.
Someone probably. That was also I wondered about that. He seems like a bit old for this role. I'm sure. I think Nico's like 23, 20. You know, like closer to our. Well, I was gonna say closer to our age.
But
That's gross. I
he's
guess
closer to
Patrick's
our
closer
age.
to our age. I don't consider myself to be 25. This entire year has been a waste.
It's all
So
fake.
I'll be 25 again in May. If everyone would like to,
We're deleting 2020.
yeah, happy 25th birthday. Yeah. I told my mom that she was like, "That's not how it works," and I was like, "But literally, if I start telling people I'm turning 25, they'll just believe it."
I'm just gonna send you some photos of this other kid.
Okay, thanks.
Actually,
Oh, well, he's
do you
trying
see?
his best.
Is he?
There's always got to be that if there when that's the thing when you have that many kids, anything over
You're
like two or
gonna
three
get an
kids,
ugly one
there's gonna be one that's just the wrong combination
of
of your
genetics. Yes,
genetics. Yeah.
100% agree.
Yep.
What happens if that's like your first kid? Like, what if I have a
Oh.
baby and I just have like this little turd of a child? Anyways, sorry. I'll love my children
Well,
no matter what they look like or do,
yeah.
unless they kill people.
Well,
And even then, there's some gray area there. It depends why.
yeah, so I literally cannot emphasize how much I love Nico, but
So
I don't know
cute.
what it is. Like I literally just look at him and I'm like, I love you with my whole entire heart.
Yeah. No, we started watching this movie and like the classroom scene, I was like, "Oh, he's cute, whatever." But like the first scene that I died at was when he's like, "Ladies first." And he's like,
Mm.
"Oh, can I say that? Do you want to go first?" And he's just so adorable. I
Yeah,
was like, "Oh my God, I love him." And his floppy
precious.
hair, like
I'm like,
just
yeah, I don't even
cute.
like men. I'm like, yeah.
Like what a cutie. So cute.
So overall, I would say that I actually didn't really like this movie.
I I liked it. I don't think I'd ever really watch it again.
Exactly. I wouldn't watch it again. I wouldn't say I disliked it like really strong, like there wasn't anything where I was
Mm.
like this is the worst film of all time. There were things that I didn't like, but like overall, yeah, I'm not going to watch it again. It was slow. Like it was 2
Yeah.
hours long and I paused it halfway through and did something else for 2 hours and then came back and watched the rest of the movie. Like
Yeah. It was I think they tried to put too much into it, honestly. Like I think there was too much going on.
but then at the same time like nothing happened. Not really.
I felt like like I don't know. I don't
I
even
kind
know.
of wish as much as I have said 14 times in the last 10 minutes that I love Nico, what even is his character? His character's name is Seth. As much as I love that actor, I don't know why that storyline was involved. Like
Oh, I think I liked that bit. I thought like the stuff with her dad
I was so confused when they started talking about her dad. I was like, did
because
I miss something? Like,
so in the beginning when
uh-huh.
she's like going through her mom's old like Riot Girl stuff,
Yeah.
there's pictures of her dad in there.
Oh, okay.
And at first I was like, well, at first I didn't I watched it twice. First time didn't even register that that's what was happening. The second
Uh,
time I was watching it with my mom and my mom was like, "Okay, so her dad's dead?"
that's what I thought.
And I was like, "I don't know, I guess, sure."
Uh,
And then later, she or her mom mentions her dad's wedding.
mhm.
Um,
She mentions it when they're at when her and Seth sneak it. What's her name? The character's name?
Vivian.
And Vivian and Seth sneak into the like funeral home or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they talk about it
Okay, that's when and
briefly.
then but okay, so the whole movie, it doesn't seem like her dad being gone like really has any type of
Affects
effect
her.
on her or means
Hmm.
anything at all. And then when she has this big like breakdown at dinner when her mom invites her new boyfriend over,
Right.
she brings up her dad and it just like I was like, why does this even a this is too much. I'm just confused. Like,
Yeah, she literally was like yelling about other stuff, and then all of a sudden she was like, "Why doesn't my dad come home for Christmas?" And I was like, "What? Like,
right,
where did that come from?" That it really seemed like it didn't, not that it didn't affect her at all, I guess, but like that it wasn't, like a driving force in her life or any part of her
right.
character really. And then all of a sudden, she's weeping over it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So that bit I was like, huh? And then I just felt like so like in an effort to make it intersectional, I felt like they
Mhm.
included a lot of like side there was just so much going on. I was like, you should have picked like 3 to 4 main things,
Mhm.
and just because there was them bullying the new girl, and then
Mhm.
the girl with the big boobs, and they tried to make all of these characters like fully fledged people, but you don't have enough time to do that. And
Well,
then like the sports thing where
mhm.
they nominate Kiara against Patrick Schwarzenegger's character, and I'm just like, too much was happening, but it
There
wasn't
yeah.
engaging. Yeah.
Right, yeah, maybe that's what it was, not that because I was like, "What is even happening?" Yeah, it wasn't that nothing happened, it was that too much happened and it wasn't well written enough, or I don't know what about it was wrong because I don't know that much about writing a screenplay, but that's what the whole time I was like, this either needs to be fully about the girls so that it could be, like, actually developed or about her relationship with her mom.
Right. And I was kinda disappointed that there wasn't more with her mom. Like, I thought the movie was gonna be
Yeah.
about her and her mom, and, like, how her mom influences her to do this
Mhm.
without knowing that she influenced her to do this.
It just felt like a lot of jumping back and forth
Because
between
I
those
thought
2 worlds for her, you know?
right, and I thought Amy Poehler's, like, character was really strong as a single mom,
Mhm.
and, like, I enjoyed her conversation they were having a dinner towards the beginning of the movie, and she talks about in the '90s how feminism wasn't inclusive, and it
Mhm.
still isn't, but she, like, acknowledged some of her, like, group's,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mistakes, and I
Mhm.
enjoyed that because I think it and she was like, "Well, what are you gonna do? Nothing?" Like, "Yeah, we made mistakes, but at least we try to do something."
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that message, and I felt like that should have been employed more through, like, out the
Mhm.
screenplay, like, doing things even if you don't know what you're doing, because I feel like that was lost. And I thought it was weird that she didn't Vivian, like and maybe it's a privilege thing, but, like, I'm also a white girl, and I was already angry in high school.
Oh, yeah.
I just didn't get why it took her so long to get angry.
Right. I don't like, why was this one thing the turning point for her? I obviously, I do like, the way that I view things now is different than the way that I viewed things in high school, but I a lot of those thoughts were already, like, in my head. Shout out to Tumblr, I
Right.
guess. But,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, she's writing her essay and she's literally like, "Oh, I don't do anything." It's like, you don't care about anything at all? I mean,
But I
it
also thought
is a
that was weird
privileged thing
because
to be like, "This none of this affects me," you know?
I also thought it was weird that she was like, "Oh, I don't have anything to, like, write about," because she comes off as, like, very, like, bookish and academic or
Mhm.
whatever, but to me, at least, like, when I was going through high school, whatever, I was in 8,000,000 clubs. I would not say I cared about a lot of the clubs, but
Yeah,
I was
but
in the
that's
clubs
material to
for
write about.
yes, I was
Yeah.
in those clubs for college and that
Mhm.
so that was a plot hole that I thought was kinda weird. And it sucks because I think that this movie really could have, like
I think it could've been great.
yeah, I do too, and I really enjoyed the book, actually.
I kinda wanna read the book now to see, like, what
I think that
didn't translate.
when it comes to adapting books into screenplays, this was actually my, focus in college
Oh.
because I majored in English and film, and they didn't know what to make me write my thesis on, so I did adaptation, and I took, like, 7 adaptation classes, but you have to cut stuff out when you
Right.
adapt a book,
Yeah.
and I know that sucks because like, when you read a book that you love and then but yeah, like, it's disappointing when you see an adaptation that cuts out, like, little details that you really loved from the book, but
Mhm.
sometimes, like, that's what you have to do to make an engaging movie.
Right.
Because reading it's just such a different medium, and
Mhm.
I think that's what this movie kinda, like, missed, was, like, they needed to condense some of this and
They
s
didn't cut out enough.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they needed to streamline the plot and streamline some of the characters, and, like, I think there should have been more of a focus on the mom and her relationship, and then there should have been a focus on just her and it's hard because it's like, okay, do you really wanna focus on the white girl? Like, I understand why they tried to, like,
Mhm.
do all of these other stories, but I felt like even with Mitchell, they talk about how annoying is, like, the wrong word for him,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
which is, I think, an important distinction because, like, my mom would always call, like, Trump, like, "Oh, he's an idiot." okay, but like it's more insidious than that. And so like I
Mhm.
liked that, but that happened at the beginning of the movie, and then his
And
like
then
rape allegation happened at the very end. But there
mhm.
was no thread in the middle that like connected those two or made you
Yeah.
think like, oh, he is actually a bad guy. I mean, he's a bad guy regardless of whether or not he assaulted someone. But you just don't, there's not a build up to that. I
Yeah.
don't feel.
I just didn't I was confused also the whole time about, like, who it was supposed to be for, like, who the target audience was, and, like, I watched this review of a mom talking about it because she was like, "I wanted to watch this with, like, my, like, younger teenage girls,
Yeah.
and now I would not watch that with them." But, like, in high school, I think I wouldn't have watched this movie. I would've been like, "Ugh, whatever." It felt almost like they made it for, like, like, Amy Poehler and her, like, demographic.
Yeah. Cause my mom enjoyed it. And I think I would have enjoyed it if I was in like ninth or 10th grade.
Mhm.
I
But
think I
not,
would have
like, senior year.
I think I would have enjoyed it in like early high school. And I don't know. I think it's something I would have watched in high school, but I also think that so I read like an Amy Poehler thing where she talks about like how people shy away from being like earnest and like genuine in movies and how people are really cynical about that. And I agree with her. But I also think that's the problem with this is like I don't think Gen Z is gonna watch it in a
Yeah, oh
meaningful
my
way.
god, the whole conversation when it literally reminded me of a TikTok that I saw the other day where it was, like, adults writing Gen Z, like, characters, whatever, where they're, like, just using slang back and forth for the whole entire conversation, and it's like, yeah, sure, people do talk like that sometimes, but, like, I think I don't know, we're not Gen Z technically, I guess, so we're not and also we're not in high school currently, so I don't really know how kids talk, but, like, I think they use sentences and, like, word structure.
Right. Right. I never talked fully in slang at any point in my life,
No.
except maybe in like when we had like Nokia phones and I
Right. Where everything
was
you were,
trying
like,
to
charged by the
text.
letter, yeah.
But yeah, and it's like I don't want to like shit on this movie because I think it opens a door for better movies
Mhm.
like this to come out. Like I think it's a big deal for Netflix to have like I would say this is like one of their flagship movies this month. I mean, I Care a Lot was the
Yeah.
February one. I think the way they've marketed it, like Moxie's very much like the big
Mhm.
March release. So I think that's like a big deal because it does, even though the main character is white and it's like that's who it's about. There is a ton of diversity in the cast, and I don't think it's necessarily executed in the best way, but I think that that at least opens up a door of, like, exposure for people who are watching the
Mhm.
movie who might not have watched it if, a person of color was the lead or someone with a disability was the lead or a trans girl was the lead, and they still get to see those characters, and I also think then maybe next time Netflix, like, lets one of those characters be the main character.
Yeah.
So
Which I think is good, obviously, like, I want to include more people and all that stuff, but then at the same time, I'm like, why was the main character white? Like, what was like, other
yeah.
than because in terms of marketing, people think things won't sell
Yeah.
if they're not, like, led by
I
white cast.
think and I could be totally wrong because I did read this book a long time ago. I believe in the book, her relationship with her friend, the, Asian girl.
I was getting a lot of
Oh,
energy
gay
there.
vibes. Yes. Oh my god, yeah. Okay, I'm glad you yeah, there was that one scene where she's like, "My thing was you," or whatever.
Oh my god, I was like, "Oh,
That is
okay. So you're in love with her, alright."
yeah. Yeah, we're gonna circle back to that.
Okay.
I think their relationship is more defined by the fact that they are not both white in the book.
Mm.
'Cause they had have that little moment in the movie where she's like, "You don't
Yeah.
understand, like, why I can't do the same things you're doing,"
Uh-huh.
which I liked because I think that feminism and, like, social justice people put a lot of pressure on everyone to behave
In the same way.
a certain way and
Mhm.
only do things this one way, and that's not necessarily, like, an option for everyone, and
Yeah.
that's not what everyone feels comfortable with. So it's like, I think you should always not congratulate, that's the wrong word. Encourage people who are doing anything. Like, I think it's important to, like, acknowledge that something's being done, even if it's not, exactly what you think is the right way to practice, feminism or anti-racism work or whatever.
Right.
Um, so I did like that bit, but it just I never felt like their tension was because they were different races or have
Mhm.
different backgrounds. That was another thing that I felt like the movie just was like, bam. Like
Uh-huh.
there were so many moments where it was just like, "Poof," and I was like, this just needed a little bit more development
Right.
for it to make sense.
Right. And like you were saying earlier with the Patrick, what's his name? Mitchell in the
Schwarzenegger,
movie. Patrick
Mitchell.
Schwarzenegger's character is named Mitchell. Yeah, so at the beginning I feel like you can pretty much immediately tell that he's like a piece of shit. But I
Yeah,
mean, that's just the energy. And then at the very end, there's that like rape allegation
yeah,
against him. But like there yeah, really like what ties all this stuff together? Like there's
no,
not that there's not a common thread, but it just wasn't all put together in the way that it could have been. I did though really like I that's not wrong, but like okay, so at the end after I don't even know her character's name, the cheerleader comes out and is like Mitchell raped me. The way that they talk about it, I think was really good because she says it was like after prom or something. She was like it was in my room, it was in my bed, like I didn't know whatever. And I think that happens to a lot of girls in high school or people in high school
hmm,
where you don't even realize that like that was wrong maybe until afterwards, like
yeah,
where you're not taught, which
consent.
everything also is like there's a lot of gray area unfortunately in the way that we perceive those things, but like that you're not taught that like yeah no this is wrong, like just because you were okay with it at the start or it wasn't like aggressive or like
Yeah,
it
yeah,
still was wrong. So I like the way because I feel like watching that as a high schooler I would have been like, oh, okay, interesting. Time to reflect on some
yeah,
things. But yeah, I liked that, even though obviously like that probably isn't like a thing that everybody needs to watch. Like they do talk very openly about sexual assault in this movie. But I mean, I liked the way that they wrote
yeah.
that
No,
part.
me too. It's one of those things where like there were so many little bits that like
Right.
landed, like that were
Hmm.
like, oh yeah, okay, cool.
Then as a whole, I'm like,
Right. Because like I think the bit where Seth comes up, the first thing that like everyone who reads Moxie does like to show support is like draw
oh
these
yeah,
hearts
yeah.
and stars on their hands. And Seth comes up to put his phone, which I have never seen one of these like phone things in a
I
classroom
know.
where you have to like take out your phone and like put it in this like
No, we didn't do that.
we didn't either, but I'm like, maybe it's because phones are like so much more prevalent now, but I don't know.
Right, like people just started to get iPhones, I feel like in when we were in high school, like early high
Yeah.
school.
So that was something I was like, I thought it was cool, but I was like, weird. He like goes to put his phone in there and they see that he has the hearts and stars drawn on.
Mhm.
And I was like, I loved that. And I was like, that is so cool. And I did like that they
Yeah.
showed like him and then the class president who was kind of like a dweeb who wore the
Oh,
pirate
the
costume.
kid in the yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I like that they showed two men that were trying to support this
Mhm.
movement because I think like Seth is obviously a very idealized version of like a
Oh,
high
yeah.
school boy like who would support feminism, but the kid who plays the class president, I think he's like perfect because he tries so hard to be like
Uh-huh.
inclusive. On the announcements he says like mermaids and pirates and
Mhm.
she's like she like goes after him.
Can't
He's like,
girls
oh, I
be
was
pirates? Yeah.
well, but he was like, "Oh, I was trying to be inclusive." And he just like he tries and he shows up to the Moxie rally at the end and gets
Mhm.
like teased, but he's like there trying to support it. And I thought that was a much more like realistic, like I thought he was cute.
Yeah.
Like I was like, okay, like he has no idea what he's doing, but he's trying and that's,
Yeah.
cool. But I did like that they had the guys in it because I do think that like I think when you make a movie about feminism that's like only or predominantly cisgendered women because there is a trans girl in the
Mhm.
Moxie group. It just is like doesn't hit it doesn't I think you don't need to spread the message of feminism to women.
Right, like we get it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe
I
you
mean,
need to
there
do
are
like
some
a
out there that don't, sure.
and I mean intersectionality needs to be like better, you know,
Right. Right, but these are
implemented.
things that like affect men too. They just don't
Right.
see the effects in the way that we
Right.
do. So
So
blatantly, yeah.
that's why I liked that like they had the Seth character because it was like I was just glad we didn't have a boyfriend that was like, "Oh, I don't get why you're doing this," because I was like, I'm
Uh-huh.
just sick of that. It's just like I mean, that's enough. I don't need more of that in my life.
Yeah. Should we talk about the explicitly gay moment?
Was there? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh-huh. But first, before we talk about that, hi. Steven's here. We're almost done, I think.
Yeah.
He goes, how much longer? Okay.
Steven's like, wrap it up.
Now that we had that long aside. Oh, before we talk about the explicitly gay moment, this is the only thing I wanted to mention that like literally means nothing, but it's just funny to me. In Ike Bernholtz's classroom, I don't remember the
Oh,
teacher's
the
name.
signs.
Yeah, it
Yes.
says in the back, it's like says you matter, don't give up. But the way it's formatted, if you read it like
Uh-huh.
left to right, top to bottom, it just says you don't matter, give up.
Give
And
up.
I loved that. They never mention it.
But they switch it at the end of the movie.
Yeah, they
Like
do
it's
switch it
down
at
in
the
the
end of the
right
movie.
spot.
Yeah.
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 It's so cute.
I just
I
loved
like that
that
a lot.
little. And then I also liked that he let them leave.
Um, I guess I did like it, but I felt like once again, should we be congratulating a man for like doing the bare minimum? Like it takes him the
I don't
whole
know.
entire movie to come around to this.
Yeah, but I also think it's like generational, like age-wise.
Well, so
Like
much is generational, but we can't, you know.
but it's like I think we should congratulate people or at least encourage people or thank people for doing
Right.
the right thing, even if it's like late or even if it's I don't know, because I think there's times where it does take people a while to unlearn behaviors and ideas and
Yeah. I think we should acknowledge it, but I don't think I felt like it was a thing that people could easily be like, "Oh, look at it," you know, like, "All
yeah,
right, good for him." It's like
yeah.
we can acknowledge it, but we don't need to like celebrate him for being like finally okay with these girls. But anyway, the actual gay moment. I'm so glad I was actually watching at this point in time because I definitely was on my phone a lot during this movie. So I have two thoughts in general. It's between the new girl, Lucy, and then Kiara's friend, Amaya, who I feel like she's written as like, still written as like the sassy black best friend.
Yeah.
And she's not the only black character. I just felt like, I was like, is she literally only here to like, because the way that she's Kiara's best friend and she like goes around and like hypes her up and does all this stuff for her. And it's like, even if I don't know, it just, I wanted to like get other people's thoughts on it, but I didn't. I was like, I don't know where to even look for information about this. But it like something about it felt like her character, the way she was written, felt just like a little off to me. But regardless of that, it's like a dance or whatever at the end, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, just all of a sudden they kiss, and I was like, love to
I
see it.
loved that. I loved that.
It was so cute.
Especially because I felt like the moment between Vivian and her friend was
Mm-hmm.
something was there, but wasn't explicitly queer. And so I was like, I mean, if that's all we get, cool, because like I enjoyed that little thing. But
Oh yeah.
the kiss was so cute. I just loved that. And I also loved the like little all Asian girl band. That's a real band.
Mm-hmm. Oh really?
Yeah, so cute. They're like
Yeah.
in middle school.
I mean, yeah, they looked so young.
Well, I think they
Really
say
cute.
like when they do the
Uh-huh. They say the
show, they're
like
like,
junior high band or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they were so cute and I loved that little moment too at the nursing home. I just felt like there were all these like little vignettes, like all these little
Uh-huh.
things that were like, "Oh, that's cute," and that could have been fleshed out more. Like the nursing home thing could have been fleshed out more. Like
Yeah.
the women there could have been. It was just like there were
Right.
just so many little opportunities where I was like, "Wait, why is this all
Why
we're
is this?
getting?"
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah. That's why like
I'd
overall I
say
don't
watch
feel
it
like
once.
super negatively. Right. Like watch it. There's nothing like horribly offensive about it, I guess. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I I would
Watch
watch it.
it.
I mean, like watch
Think
it.
some
Just
thoughts.
yeah,
See how you feel about it.
go in with low expectations, and I think you'll be fine.
And you'll be fine. Yeah.
It's cute. Like I think it's it's not a masterpiece, but it's cute.
Something about it felt like I don't know if it was the way that it was shot or something, but it felt like an ABC Family movie to me. Like,
Oh
you know,
yes,
which
uh
I feel
huh.
like kind of honestly is the energy that I get from a lot of Netflix originals. Yeah, I think
I mean,
going in with
yeah,
low expectations is fair.
because I
I
think I went in
They
with
weren't
like
super high, but they were like I
my
expected to enjoy it at least. And I did enjoy
yeah
parts, but as a
yeah.
whole,
It was
yeah.
like meh. Like and it's like there's
Yeah.
nothing. It's just that it didn't flow well. I would say like
Mhm.
and I liked it. It just wasn't something I
It
need to
just
watch
makes me
again.
sad that like we're getting these movies that we're supposed to like
Right.
be so good and we're supposed to love them. And it's like, Women's History Month, woohoo,
Yeah.
whatever. But I just didn't love it in the way that I wanted to.
I agree with that. Anyways, go watch it. See what you think.
Anyways,
That's all I have to say about that movie.
I made 6 bullet point notes for this whole movie. And one of them just says
I
slow in all caps.
I didn't take notes, and well, I actually wrote down 2 things, and one of the things I wrote down was about the sign in the classroom. That's all, though.
We'll be back
Yeah.
next week talking about something. Who knows, really?
Yeah. Who knows? We don't know yet.
Nope, certainly don't.
You'll find out probably when we do.
Thanks for listening. Go follow us on Instagram and Twitter and all the places. I don't know.
Definitely YouTube. We're trying to monetize
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So, like, help
Please.
us, please. I really need to get in the habit of, like, now, like,
Watching
putting
them on YouTube.
clothes on, like, that
Oh,
match, that aren't pastel Captain Marvel shirts and American flag.
I think that's fine.
Because I'm like, and makeup, because I'm looking at myself, and I do stuff, like, while we're recording that I wouldn't do if I was, like, conscious of us being on video. Like, where I'm just, like, rubbing my eyes and, like, I'll be like, "Oh, let me just send a text message," and then I'm like, "Oh, these are going up on YouTube now. I need to, like,
Sorry, everybody.
pay attention
But
and
yeah,
get
same.
dressed." But
I know I
whatever,
put
you
makeup on
guys.
today, but I was like, whatever. We're just hanging out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. This is early for me on a Saturday. It's, like, 10:15 here.
I've been up since 8.
Not relatable to me at all. But
All right,
anyways,
well.
yeah, thanks, bye.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. Bye.